What it do? What it do, y'all? It's your boy Big J, aka Jordan Jean Louis, host of the JJL Sports Talk Show. I got my boy Kyle Edwards. You've seen his face for a couple episodes, and my boy Kahlil Calloway. Calloway, how you doing, man? We wait for you to get on the show, man. Like, what's going
I'm
on,
excited,
man?
man. This is 2 weeks in the making. You know what I'm
2 weeks
saying?
in the making, baby. I mean,
Yeah.
how's everyone doing, man?
Can't complain, man. Just ready to talk some sports. Getting ready for the weekend. Watch a whole bunch of college football.
Yes,
Watch some
sir.
NBA. All that. I'm good to go.
Yeah, I know, Kyle. Me and you, for the Big Three podcast, like I think NBA starts that Tuesday, right, of next week.
Yep.
Like that's when games start. All right,
Yep.
opening night.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we'll dive into that later on in the show and talk about the NBA. But we got to talk about NFL. Start off the bat. Week 5 previews. So let's start off with the Week 5 games. This is for a review. Let me
All
go
right.
back to. All right, so to start out with, all right, so the Colts and Broncos game Thursday night. Another. See, I'm trying to refrain myself from cussing. Another whack game. Another primetime whack game. Score was 12-9. I know one of those games where I fell asleep. Like it wasn't entertaining to watch. Kahlil, you're shaking your head like, damn, bro. Like,
No, this game was bad. It was bad.
it was really bad.
I mean, I get why they put on the schedule because before the season they probably thought Colts, Broncos, Matt Ryan, Russell Wilson should be entertaining, but yeah, these two teams are they're just not it right now. I mean, they could turn it around, but I probably have more faith in the Colts than the Broncos doing that, but we'll have to see.
I mean, I think you look at like both teams the week before, they both lost their star running backs in Javonte Williams and Jonathan Taylor. I think that's a huge part of it.
Yeah.
But Russell Wilson being on prime time, it's just disgusting at this point. I mean, you look at he's about to have his 4th primetime game on Monday.
Yep.
Another primetime game for
in
him
the past 6 weeks. I mean, Russell Wilson's a guy who starts off, really hot for the season, MVP candidate usually, and then once we get to mid-season is where he starts to slow down. But now it's kind of like he's coming into a new system, and you think he's going to start off hot, but now he's really struggling. Now he's dealing with an injury, a whole bunch of things, but no excuses. The way he played on Thursday was extremely poor.
Yep.
Yeah, I just don't think that Russell Wilson is that same prime Seattle quarterback that everyone wants him to be, him. I mean, he had the perfect system with him and Pete Carroll. They had a good thing working in Seattle. All the fans loved him. But now he's in a new system, a new coach. It's not. It doesn't work out for Russell Wilson, and we've seen that. In the past that he's won games, but he doesn't have the proper receivers that he had in the past. He had his tight end, he had Graham as a tight end.
Mm-hmm.
He had Jermaine Kearse. He had didn't he play Metcalf for 1 year, I think, before he got traded.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Baldwin is another guy.
Tyler Lockett.
Lockett. Didn't he? For the other receiver, but now we had Sutton, Judy. I mean, Gordon now catching balls in the backfield. Judy's a former Alabama receiver, so I kind of get that respect for him. But I mean, I just don't see compared to the receiving course he had in Seattle, to compared to now, it's they're garbage, man. It's
Ooh.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far because Sutton is actually really
oh
talented.
no, yeah, Sutton's good. I'm just saying
Sutton and Judy are good. It's just that I don't know if it's Hackett's philosophy, if it's Russell Wilson holding on to the ball too long. The timing's just not there, and especially on that game Thursday night, the interception in the end zone, he was late on that one. Even though the receiver also kind of ran his slant a little too deep in the end zone, which allowed Gilmore to undercut him. But the throw was still late. And then the final play, Russell locked in on the left side of the field when he had Hamler wide open to the right and completely ignored that side and then forced the pass in the back of the end zone that if Gilmore didn't tip it, there was like two other guys in the area who could have knocked it away. So if it's his confidence or whatever, they need to get that back because this season is slipping away from them real quick.
Yeah, speaking of the Colts too, like I mean, I'm surprised that like going into the season they didn't like draft the quarterback because I know Matt Ryan, he's 37. Like people thought that he's going to be the same, quarterback in Atlanta as he was, and he didn't do much in Atlanta. He didn't get to a Super Bowl. No, I'm sorry, he did. I get the Patriots, but other than that, MVP. But other than that, like he like the same quarterback like as he used to be. He had 251 yards, had 2 interceptions, at a poor QB rating of 60.1. Probably one of the lowest ratings. Russell didn't really do much. He had 274, 2 interceptions, 54.9 rating. So all in all, that game was kind of like boring to watch. I fell asleep to it. That's what I thought about that.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it was bad. It was bad. It was just straight up bad. I think Matt Ryan. Listen, man. I mean, you look at Michael Pittman. That's supposed to be the guy here. Michael Pittman is supposed to be this guy, but Patrick Surtain is on him. So now you got to go to the other side of the field and other weapons. But you don't have Jonathan Taylor. Naheem Hines then goes down. Your O-line has been struggling all year. What can he really do in this situation is my question. The defense for the Colts, they played pretty well considering, injuries as well. Shaquille Leonard, huge injury that has been bugging them all year long. And then the Broncos, you look at the other side. Defensively, they have been great. But offensively, I don't know if it's a Nathaniel Hackett situation like Kyle said. I think, Nathaniel Hackett's so used to using his running backs like he did in Green Bay, maybe with the Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon combo and run off that play action with Rodgers. He's trying to do that with Wilson. But the thing is, I think also Wilson is used to having such a bad – I don't want to say bad O-line. He's used to having a bad situation around him that he feels like he has to always make that bigger play when he could just make the simple read. Your easy check down, or whether it's your beating in the zone or finding that safe spot, like anything. I just feel like he tries to make a bigger play when he doesn't need to.
Right, and like you make up a good point, Club, because I saw the same thing that happened last night in last night's game with Justin Fields. With him. I mean, obviously the last 2 passes that he had wasn't really his fault because they were on the button. The one that I think the last throw he had, I mean, the dude had it in his hands and he juggled it. But after the game, I saw that I just noticed that in that system, when you look at the Lamar Jackson, the Patrick Mahomes, the other mobile QBs, they're in the right system. Even though Greg Roman in his system, some people are kind of iffy about his play calling, but his offense is centered around Lamar's abilities. And Justin Fields, he's not a Tom Brady. He's not a standstill quarterback. He's a mobile quarterback. And from what I saw, he was doing these plays where he was just running all over the field. There were some plays where he didn't have to pass the ball. He could have ran it for the first down. I think in that system, they're kind of using see what's wrong. And same way I see with the Russell Wilson and in that system, you know what I'm saying? And they could have won that game. The Broncos, the Bears could have won that game easily. They're right there. They had it in their hands. And I think in that system, the way they operate, they're kind of they're minimizing Fields' potential as a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's the same way how you brought up Khalil about how Hackett's system, how for what he wants, Russell Wilson is not used to that. Kind of play calling playbook. You know what I'm saying? So it's all
especially with Javonte, you're not doing that. It's not happening. And Melvin Gordon has not shown up this season. 4 fumbles already. It's not happening.
Unfortunately, I have him on my fantasy league, Melvin Gordon. mean, he's my backup, but I mean, I guess we can say that the Broncos are kind of like. I mean, looking at the division, I mean the Raiders are 1-4, Denver's are 2-3, LA 3-2, and so really the sole person in that division is or team is the Chiefs right now in the division. So right, I mean,
And
Raiders,
I don't mean to switch subjects, but I mean,
yeah,
you look at the Chargers, who are 3-2, right? I mean,
yeah,
they don't play like a 3-2 team though. Like
No.
I feel like when you look at the Chargers, right?
no,
Like
they don't. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
they seem like an explosive team that is going to just destroy you. And maybe that's because of Keenan Allen's injury. I'm not sure. But Herbert really hasn't shown me a lot this season. Like at all. Like I just feel like we're putting him in this top 5 conversation, but he hasn't really been doing enough to get himself in that conversation.
Yeah, I mean, you
Yeah.
make up a good point. Yeah.
Well, I mean, with quarterbacks, they always try to do that where they, everybody in the media is all about hot takes, so they want to be the first one to put him up there, and then when he gets there, they could be like, "Oh, I was on the bandwagon first."
Right.
But I mean, I agree with you, Khalil. Let Herbert kind of, show you why he should be in that group before just putting him up there, and then if he doesn't live up to it, then they're gonna turn around and say he was a bust or
Exactly.
overrated or something. It's like I don't get why people do that all the time, especially with young players. But
Especially young quarterbacks. I mean, we look at so many improved guys. Like, I think Daniel Jones, like a guy who was a turnover machine, in the matter of a year has improved like dramatically.
yeah,
Or Tua Tagovailoa, like a guy who was severely doubted, like getting benched for Ryan Fitzpatrick, is now. I mean, not obviously now, but stepped up to the plate. I mean, he was having extremely good games before his unfortunate concussion.
Yeah.
Or the Dolphins will call it a back injury. But I think there's a lot of improvement in these young quarterbacks, and I think we're so quick to rush on them and see their potential for now, like potential. I guess in the next few games, we want to see it now more than just letting it happen.
Yeah.
Right. So I know me and you, Khalil, we talked in school, so you don't really have a specific team. Cause I know I'm a Ravens fan. Kyle, he's a Patriots fan. So are you like a floater? Oh, my mic. Are you like a floater? Like
Listen,
you just
I
follow-
vote for my fantasy team. That is my number one team.
Okay.
I try not to be biased because I like to look at all the teams and see what they can do. Like, for example, like I picked up Kenneth Walker on the waiver wire. Loved him in Michigan. I'm not a Michigan fan, but I do like Kenneth Walker and the way he works. And now that he's in Seattle, maybe I'll vote for Seattle this week against the Cardinals.
got
It's
a
like
comment from Jeremy. Good evening, Jordan and gents. Thank you, Jeremy.
That was
Good
good,
evening.
Jeremy.
Lions fan who didn't get swept by like the Pacers last week.
Hey, that's a sore subject for Lions fans, man. But yeah, yeah, 29-0.
29-0, man.
Yeah. So let's go to the next game. I think on ESPN it's week 5. Okay, the 49ers Panthers. Obviously, I think I had that as one of my locks for last week. 37-15 Seattle or San Fran won against the Panthers. Panthers are they're out of a coach. Matt Rule got fired. Now they're thinking about trading McCaffrey or keeping him and building around him or so I think he got fired after that game, I believe. That game. So
it was due. I mean, he was like 11 and 30 something as a head coach.
yeah, and a matter of like 3 years, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he was a hot commodity out of Baylor, and we know Baylor has high powered offenses. So I think that's what Carolina fell in love with. But it just seemed like they couldn't get the quarterback situation right because he had Sam Darnold, who I mean, he's Sam Darnold, and he gets Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield was
Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, he fell out of favor in Cleveland, and I mean he's hurt now, so now they're with PJ Walker. But I mean PJ Walker at least can scramble a little bit, and he's a decent quarterback. So we'll have to see if was it like Sam Wilkes is the interim coach now? Maybe this is what can give them a little shot of life, and maybe they can surprise a few teams in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, Baker. I just don't see like Baker is like he's not the quarterback, the right quarterback for like the freaking Panthers, man. Because like the way, I mean, obviously when he's like healthy, he's good, but like he just can't. I think I don't know what injury he has now. I think it was a shoulder. I think last season. I think the labrum. I think in
It
the right
might
here in
be
this
an
area,
ankle sprain.
ankle sprain. I don't know. It's just like with that offense, like now with no coach. I mean, I don't know who the interim coach is until they hire a new like permanent coach. But it's just like he's struggling. He struggled like a little bit his last year in Cleveland. You know what I'm saying? Because he was hurt. Half the reason why he was hurt. But I don't know. It's just like I don't know who they got to figure it out. The Panthers. I mean, they're 1-4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
go ahead, Kahlil.
go ahead, Kyle. My bad.
Oh, I was just about to. I was just say that Mayfield is like an interesting quarterback because he came in the league, and it seemed like automatically people wanted to compare him with Johnny Manziel. We all know how that turned out. So I think there's a lot of people who just want Mayfield to fail. I mean, I was a fan of Mayfield coming out of Oklahoma. I think there is a talent in there. I'm just not sure what kind of offense fits him right now. And I think that's kind of the problem he's facing as a in his career right now.
I totally agree. I mean, the thing with Baker is he's mobile. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's funny because I compare him more to Justin Fields than anybody else. I think he's not a bad like throw on the run quarterback. He'll get you deep sometimes. It's like a 50-50 ball with both of them, and they're elusive. They're mobile. They can get out the pocket. I think the problem with the Panthers, and it was their coach. I think it was as simple as that. Matt Rule was not the answer. You look at that defense, there's no excuse for that defense to be as bad as they are. You have Brian Burns, you have J.C. Horn, you have Jeremy Chin. I mean, you have players. They had Gilmore last year on the other side. Like, what was the problem? And I couldn't figure it out until, Matt Rule is going to get fired. Now, what I think the Panthers are going to do is in the draft, they're going to be a high pick. They're going to get C.J. Stroud. Now, do I think C.J. Stroud is the answer? No. Because I think it puts them right back in the situation that they were in. I think they need a quarterback who's
established.
Throw the ball. Just accurate. I'm not a big college guy, but I know C.J. Stroud. And I know Ohio State quarterbacks. I don't trust them. Don't ever trust an Ohio State quarterback. You'll fall in that trap. I think they just need a good thrower, somebody to throw to. Like throw to DJ Moore. Throw to DJ Moore. Get him a great quarterback who's accurate and can throw the ball a little deep sometimes. Same with Robbie Anderson. I think those two would be a great pair.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Curtis Samuel was it would have been so great for all three of them, but that actual good quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right with you with the for the draft. Also, I mean, barring if Bryce Young can get healthy for the season, that's another option for them too.
That is another option.
And he reminds me of like a Jalen Hurts coming out of Alabama, that young mobile quarterback. I mean, obviously he wouldn't be established yet because he would be a rookie. But Bryce Young, I mean, he can throw the ball, man. He can throw that ball deep. But obviously, we don't know because he hasn't really had that NFL experience yet. But that's another young quarterback that kind of start them from something. But we all know that Baker Mayfield might not be the answer. Sam Darnold might not be the answer. I mean, they're 1-4 in their division. I don't see them making the playoffs this year. Obviously, they're going to be in a rebuild stage, finding a quarterback. But I feel like they need to find a veteran QB that can be in the locker room to support the young QBs, like a Joe Flacco kind of type player, somebody who could throw the ball. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, Garoppolo also had the better game. He had two touchdowns, no picks, 2 for 253 yards, had a 109 QB rating. Baker had 215 yards, QB rating of 61.7, one interception. So I mean, and Walker came in had 660 yards. But I mean, their defense kind of their defense was the story of the game because on the 49ers side, because they were just into the quarterbacks. And obviously they have a better receiving course like, Debo and Ayuk. They got Boza on the defensive side. So I mean they got some players on that side. So I had that as my lock for week 5, I think. I think Dylan had the Bills and Steelers, which we're gonna talk about soon.
Mm-hmm.
The next game, Kahlil, the game that you went to, the Baltimore Ravens and Bengals game. Ravens won 19-17. Ravens won off of a game-winning Tucker field goal.
The GOAT.
So, yeah, I'll let you go first, Kahlil, since you're at the game. Was it your first Ravens game going to a game?
It was. It was electric. It was electric. One of the best night games you could go to, I think. Ray Lewis was in attendance, got the crowd hype. Unbelievable experience. Lamar Jackson, not the MVP right now, but Lamar Jackson, watching him in person, I think gives you a better, idea of what kind of quarterback he is. Mobile. I mean, mobile. He'll hit those throws sometimes, but some of these throws that he'll attempt and get off is amazing. I think he doesn't get enough justice for it. The defense played great for the Ravens. Bengals, they're in trouble. They're in trouble. It was check down night. It was check down night for the Bengals. And that makes me a little nervous because Jamar Chase, again, like we said, called the top 5 receiver, top 10 receiver, right?
Mm-hmm.
But T. Higgins isn't in the game, and the offense is struggling.
Yeah.
Now, I think T. Higgins is a huge part of that offense, and I mean, they couldn't get Mixon going. Joe Burrow could barely get going. Hayden Hurst was maybe a second best player on the team, I guess, offensively at that time. I think probably the best player on the team was Samaje Perine. Samaje Perine caught every check down and took it for at least six consistently. I think the running backs really were trying to get that passing game going, but Burrow was in trouble. The offensive line is bad. The defense, stepped up at times, but really got run all over in the entire game. I mean, this score doesn't really tell the story of the entire game. I think the Ravens fully dominated, and they just couldn't get in the end zone. I think that was just what it was.
Yeah, there are some calls I saw that from the refs, even some peers kind of had a couple calls against them, in the first half. But I mean, the Ravens. I mean, we should have not blown them out, but we should have put up more points than what we. Obviously those 2 passes that Lamar had. One was I think to Duvernay, which was kind of overthrown, and the second one was to not Allen Robinson, Demarcus Robinson, which is kind of overthrew him again, overthrew him for the second time.
Which that happens. That especially when you're throwing short passes most of the game and running the ball, that's going to happen. Lamar Jackson is not going to get a lot of those deep shots every game. When he does, he's going to try to do it. And, when you're running the ball that much, it's going to be a little hard to be as consistent.
Yeah, I knew me and Kyle were talking last episode that, the thing I saw difference from this game and the Bills game that we played, I think at Bengals we was a 4th and short, and Harbaugh kicked the field goal and got the 3 points. We all talk about how Harbaugh is aggressive on 4th and short and 3rd and short. I mean, we're more than 4th and short. It comes a time in a game where you should decide, okay, should we go for it or should we just take the points? And I can think there was one play where it wasn't even Harbaugh's fault. Harbaugh wanted to punt the ball, but Lamar was like, "I got you, Harbaugh, I got you." But he failed to get the first down. And Lamar was like, "That's on me. That's on me. I got you." But I mean, those check downs against the Bengals, man. We had it on a lot. Mixing really, especially in the first half, Mixon wasn't really doing much. In the second half, when he Burrow started, feel comfortable in the pocket, he started making the pass to Mixon and stuff. But that one play that Peters blew up. It was like that Philly special play where I think it was Mixon. I think Jamar Chase or I think Boyd did like
It was
like
Boyd.
like a flea flicker to
Yep.
like Burrows. He was open in the end zone and Peters just blew it up. I don't know what kind of call that was. I guess that's they had like every team had that play in their playbook, but they gotta figure out when to use that. But Kyle, what are your opinions on Sunday night's game?
No, I mean, well, starting with the Bengals, I just think
Yeah, that was your pick, right, to win the game. That was your
I picked the Bengals in this one, and you know they spent money in the offseason to rebuild the offensive line because that was an issue last season, and now we're 5-6 games in, they still haven't figured it out, and because of that, it's hampering Mixon from being effective. And then you take Mixon out of it. Now you're relying more on Chase and Higgins. But if Higgins isn't there, then the defense can just key in on Chase. And then now at that point, like you saw in that game, Burrow's really limited to dumping it down underneath. And then at that point, you're hoping guys can make guys miss. But I mean, if you're a good tackling team, then you can handle the Bengals right now.
yeah.
I don't know if that's going to last all season because I still have some faith in the Bengals that they'll figure it out, but it's got to start with that offensive line, and they got to figure out what to do with them. I don't know if it's shifting guys or something, but until they get that fixed, the struggles are just going to continue.
Yeah, like who they signed that lineman? Was it some I think the announcers because I think he had a holding call on the line and like they signed that dude took a massive contract for the line. What was his name?
Yeah, Collins.
Yeah, he like I'm obviously he can't really do it all himself on the line, but like
no, he's just been bad.
You're just they paid him that big money for to protect Joe Burrow, and like obviously he can't do it himself, but like obviously he needs to learn his assignments, like how to be accustomed to the O line. And now Kahlil made a good point. Ravens defense is good, but now we're gonna get better because Tyus Bowser is coming. He practiced. He's one of our linebackers. He ACL. I think had an ACL tear last year. He practiced, and then our draft pick David Ojabo is nice. back at practice. So, I mean, imagine if you had Peters, Humphreys. Well, I guess Marcus Williams he's out for a couple games with a wrist injury, but have a Duffy on the right side, have Ojabo on the other. Man, and they got
Pierre Paul too. I mean, recent signing had a great game too.
Yeah, I mean, Patrick Queen had an interception. Former teammates, Patrick Queen and Burrows. Burrows threw an interception to Patrick Queen. I know that crowd was crazy, man. He had that pick, man.
It was an unreal game. I'll tell you that.
Like any other thoughts on Sunday's game before we move on to the next game?
No, I mean, it's just the Ravens team that's right now better than the Bengals, but we know at the AFC North they kind of always are bunched together. At least these two teams will probably be. The Steelers are going through their own struggles, and I feel like the Browns are kind of teetering right now. So
yeah, I think we talked about that in the Big Three podcast. I mean, you with Kyle and like this game. I mean, even though it's the first divisional game we've had. But the Bengals dropped an egg on this one because, like, obviously we're 3-2, they're 2-3. In this game, we are like in the first place. I know we play them again the last game of the season, but this game could go a long way with deciding who is going to be the division winner and a wild card. You know what I'm saying? So Bengals, that was one of the games that they needed under their belts. But I mean, obviously they had the Browns to play and Steelers to play.
Yeah, that'll be the key for these two teams to beat up on the Browns and the Steelers. And worst case, they split their season series. So, like the Bengals, if they can get revenge on them in the last week of the season. But I think both teams should feel like that they're playoff teams. So it'll just be who wins the division or not.
Right. So we got the next game. We got we're not gonna go through all these games. But the Giants. And the Packers, I know they were in London playing. Packers, everyone had them winning because Aaron Rodgers, but actually they could have won if Aaron Rodgers they could have ran the ball instead of passing it. I think the first good pass got tipped by a D lineman, and then the one was kind of like overthrown, I guess. And the Giants won 27-22. Daniel Jones had 270 yards, 217 yards, no touchdowns. Packers, Aaron Rodgers threw for 222 yards, 2 touchdowns. Aaron Jones had 13 carries for 63 yards. Had 70 yards with one touchdown. So all in all, the Giants. Their season looking. They're 4-1. So fellas, tell me your opinions about that game.
It's a game the Packers shouldn't have lost, but Aaron Rodgers, he, I find it hard to be a Packers fan with Aaron Rodgers because you have to listen every season. People talk about how great he is, how he's the best quarterback in the league. He has all these tools, but then year in and year out, their season never ends where Packers fans want it to be. And this point, this season looks like it's going to be the same way because the most talented guy on their offense is Aaron Jones. But like you just said, he only had 13 carries. Why? They should be using him for like 20 carries. I think that takes pressure off for Aaron Rodgers, even though I feel like he probably changes calls at the line so he can, have more passing plays. But until they fix the philosophy and go more run-based, I can see the Packers losing more games like this. And me as some people might say I'm a Rodgers hater, does make me smile a little bit on the inside. I'm not gonna lie.
I love it. The Giants win. I love it.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Daniel Jones. Talk about coming out here with an ankle sprain.
Mm-hmm.
Blood all over his hand. Big gash on his hand. Throwing the ball phenomenally. This might be his best game he's ever had. Maybe besides the Tampa Bay one, but his first. But I think this game was very solid. Saquon Barkley is I want to say it so bad.
He's juking people out, crossing people up.
He is the best running back in the league. I really didn't want to say it, but he's the best running back in the league. Nick Chubb is doing everything in his power to not make me say that.
Yeah.
But Saquon Barkley is unreal. Now, back to the Aaron Rodgers thing. Aaron Rodgers, I think his biggest problem is his ego. I think his ego gets in the way of winning. Easily could have wrapped up this game by handing off the ball to Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. If you're going to tell me that A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones can't get 2 yards in 2 plays, I laugh at you. And I think you're a comedian because there's no chance that Aaron Rodgers or Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon are not getting 2 yards in 2 plays. Look, the Giants defense is great, but they were struggling against the run the entire game. And I think Aaron Rodgers' ego says, hey, I want to go out and win this game for my team. But the problem is you had that opportunity and you failed. You had it before in the entire few drives that you had. You had it the entire second half. So my problem with Aaron Rodgers is, look, you don't have Devontae anymore. And that's your number one option. And that's pretty much the guy that I hate to say is the guy that won you 2 MVPs.
That's true.
Yeah.
And you have now, as like Kyle said, your best player on your offense is probably Aaron Jones. Go through him. Go through A.J. Dillon. It's so simple. The Packers defense, I can't blame them on this. Look, they always have a problem with stopping the run this year or every year. They have a problem with stopping the run. But this situation, the offense should have wrapped it up. Run the ball out. Run the clock out. Game's over. So what I took away from this game is that I don't want to say the Packers are in trouble. Packers are not Super Bowl contenders, that's for sure. And I think the Packers are a team that maybe will make the playoffs, but I think by the end of the season, Minnesota will clinch the division.
Yeah, like I think at the end of the day, when it comes down to like Packers and playoffs, like if they do get in the playoffs, the only difference of them making not making to the championship is like the receivers that they have. Because like I mean, obviously, I mean they got Lazard, he's kind of doing his thing, but like other than that, like they don't really have anybody like and like you said,
I'm
like
sorry.
Devontae.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you off, but listen, Romeo Dobbs is really good.
Oh, Dobbs, yeah, Dobbs is good.
I don't
too,
mean
yeah.
to be that guy, but Romeo Dobbs is a really good player. You
Yeah,
just
Dobbs
have
is
to
good.
give him
Yeah.
time. But I just don't want to come out here and like, you talk about like everybody but Romeo Dobbs. He's a great player. So
Yeah, like he's
I
like,
support him. I support Romeo
and,
Dobbs, but that's
and
about
that's
it.
the only two players like receivers that are like stepping up. But when it comes to playoff time, I just don't see like Aaron Rodgers because he's not real. I mean, yeah, he's mobile in his sense, but like he's a run and go thrower. He can throw with his back foot. That's what he does. His signature pass off the back foot. But these receivers are a different receiving corps than like what he's had in the past. And
Yeah,
I mean,
but
if
he
they do
didn't win with those either.
that's why yeah. So like not so. That's what I took away. And Barkley is doing Barkley things. And I mean, he had 7 yards. Had a receiving yards of 36 yards from receiving. He's doing his thing, man. And like when Daniel Jones is doing his thing. I mean, the Giants are kind of I hate to say it because it's crazy to say, but Johnson, that team, man, not that team, but like
4-1.
like
4-1.
4-1.
Yeah,
So
they at least have an identity.
identity, yeah.
When you go up against the Giants, you know what you're gonna face. Unlike Green Bay, where it seems like they're trying to figure it out. That's probably the biggest thing you saw with these two teams on the field.
And Dowell, I mean, I like him as a coach, man. He brings that energy that they need to that team too. So definitely a different coaching aspect from what the Giants have seen in the past, for sure. We can go to the I guess we don't have to talk much about the Steelers and Bills because they got shellacked. Shellacked 3-38. So let's go to the primetime games. So Sunday. What was Sunday night game? That was the
That was
Ravens game.
Bengals Ravens.
Oh, by the way, if the Bills get home field advantage, they're going to the Super Bowl. There's no question about it.
That's what it's looking like
yeah.
For right now, I mean, they're the hottest team in the NFL right now for sure.
And they're one of the best home teams in the NFL.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
Yep.
I mean, other games. I mean, the Patriots won. I mean, other than the Jets kind of destroyed the Miami, but Miami obviously lost Bridgewater with an injury. Then they had their backup coming in. Two was still in protocol. Even the Jets are. I mean, both of their teams are looking not all right, but the Jets are kind of looking better than usual with Zach Wilson. They got Brees Hall. Sauce Gardner had his first pick. So I mean, I think they play the Packers next week, so that's gonna be their real test.
Brees
But
by the way, he's so good.
I saw him when we played the week 1. He's nice, man. I guess any other games this week? Titans, Commanders. I mean, Cowboys. Oh, you got something with the Cowboys beating the Rams. With Cooper Rush. Dak Prescott coming back soon. The Rams are in trouble too. And like we said before, like me and Kyle have both like reiterated that Matt Stafford, he doesn't realize he has a number one receiver on his team that he doesn't use other than Cooper Kupp. He has Allen Robinson, and he can obviously help them take the top off of the cornerbacks, but he hasn't been using him as much as he is as he wants to be used for. Obviously, Michael Parsons got hurt, but he came back to the game and still had an impact. But Cooper Rush can't do it all himself. I mean, obviously he needs to incorporate his other receivers. And like we can both say that both Super Bowl teams are not the same. Um, I guess they had their Super Bowl hangover from last year. I guess they would say. Obviously, Rams are missing Von Miller on the other side. Bills have him. I mean, they still have Donald. They still got Ramsey. He's getting destroyed on certain drives, like he did in the Super Bowl against Jamar Chase. He got burned. But obviously, he's still one of those top cornerbacks in the league, in Ramsey. But still, I wouldn't, as a quarterback, I wouldn't throw his way because he's going to pick it off, guaranteed. But yeah, I mean, do y'all have any thoughts on the Cowboys Rams game?
Well, I mean, that was a game. I think I picked that one as an upset, which it hurt my heart to do that because I don't like picking the Cowboys only because I know a lot of Cowboys fans and they can be insufferable, but I give them credit. They go hard for their team, so I can't be mad at that fully. But I think what we're really seeing is people really overrated Stafford after the Super Bowl win because a lot of people once he got that ring, they really wanted to elevate him into a class that I don't think he belongs in because he got a lot of sympathy for sticking it out in Detroit all that time, where he actually had some good years in Detroit, but they weren't winning any games. So he gets a team around him with the Rams. They win the Super Bowl the first year, and people thought, oh, now it's going to be easy for him. And it hasn't been. I guess you could say maybe they're missing OBJ, but like you said, Jordan, they did get Allen Robinson, who put up numbers with Blake Bortles, and if he could do that there, Stafford is supposed to be a better quarterback. What's the disconnect now? And then I guess quick point about the Cowboys also, they've tailored the offense to fit Cooper Rush. I mean, it's pretty much an offense that a lot of quarterbacks you could drop them in and be fine because they're going off of the running game with Pollard and Elliott, and then they're keeping the passing game like real simple, and that's been their formula for winning. I mean, they have a real test this week, but I mean, they did look good. And Parsons and that defense, they hounded Stafford, but we kind of knew that their defense, at least their front, could do that to good quarterback.
Right, right.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Rams are just at that Super Bowl hangover, and they're getting a real good taste of it right now. Look, as much as I want to blame Matt Stafford specifically, I think the O-line is a huge part of it. Them not having Whitworth, I think, Dan Edwards sucks. Sorry to say that.
Oh, good, man.
It's not. Cam Akers has been bad all season, and he got ruled out this week for some personal stuff, which I think he's just going through it entirely right now. Darrell Henderson, I mean, he's going to get the ground going. I'm not sure how confident I am in that. And like Kyle and Jordan said, look, Allen Robinson is a huge addition to that team, and I thought he could replace OBJ in that aspect, but he really hasn't. And the defense has not been great either. I didn't think they were that great last year. Bobby Wagner, I've always said this, he's a little washed right now. People want to put him in that top 5 category. Look, just because you get tackles does not mean you're a top 5 linebacker. It's as simple as that. He's a great, great at stopping the run at times, getting on the outside, but he's not as quick as he used to be. It's as simple as that. Now the Cowboys, I think defensively they are the best defense in the league. I think Trayvon Diggs has stepped up tremendously this year. I think he's really taken on that role of being that number 1 corner and trying to get that top 10 corner spot. And I think DeMarcus Lawrence has been great. Like Parsons has been great. The entire defense has been great. The coaching's been all right. Now, offensively, I still don't think Cooper Rush is better than Dak. I am never going to tell you that. That's something I'm never going to tell you. Cowboys fans will sit there and tell you that because they're delusional and they're winning, so they have nothing else to say. But Dak Prescott is the real quarterback of this team. CeeDee Lamb has stepped up to the plate as well, playing that slot receiver role. I wish they would put him outside a little more, but at the end of the day, he's doing his job, and they're just trying to get by and get wins. And I do think that the ground and pound with Zeke and Pollard is working. I just think one player is better, and that's Tony Pollard. And I think Pollard should get more carries than Zeke. I think he's more explosive and definitely has more potential.
Yeah, I was definitely going to say that. Pollard, had that big 57-yard touchdown run for the Cowboys to start off the game. That defense, Armstrong, that Lawrence fumble, even Marcus Parsons mentioned that, that was a shot of confidence and momentum for the defensive side, to start the play, how you finish the play, strong and aggressive, and I'll give my opinion on the Cowboys Eagles game, but it's going to be really, really good to watch for our week 6 preview. So I guess into the next segment, I guess we can do our week 6 previews. So Kahlil, so what we do for week 6 if you're not familiar, so we talk about the primetime games first, get it out the way. Monday night game, Sunday night game, Thursday night game, and then we do our week pick'ems, or we do who's gonna win this game, lose. But then we have our lock of the week, was who do you think would for your lock? Who the guarantee you win, and then who's your upset game? So for instance, last week I had the Niners for my lock. And then I had upset. I think I had the Cardinals upsetting the Eagles, which was, it was 17-20. So it was close. But yeah, so we go through each game, do our locks first, and then our upsets, and then we go from there. So I guess we can me and Kyle can kind of show you how we do it. So for week 6, start with the I guess with the Monday night game. I was too late now. Commanders won, but I guess we can go for the next game, Niners and Falcons. To be honest, I'll probably take that as my lock right there off the bat because they're playing the Falcons. So that's my lock.
So can we pick the same locks or no?
Do you mean for each? So for
if you wanted to take the Niners as well, Kahlil, as you're saying?
Yeah, can I do that or no?
You could, but
I'm gonna try to switch it up, but
yeah, kind of switch it up. I know there's tons of games on this, there's Patriots, Browns, there's Jets, Packers, Vikings, Dolphins, Buccaneers, Steelers. That's a lock right there. Buccaneers, Steelers. So yeah, there's tons of games on the schedule, but yeah, I'm gonna kick it off by saying I had the Niners beating the Falcons. Now, I guess I'll wait on my lock. I'm just going through the games. Niners, so I got them winning against the Falcons by a lot. I know Falcons they're a 4.5 point favorite on the money line, so I kind of go with the money line there. I guess Kyle, you can go next for your pick.
I probably was gonna go Bucs Steelers.
Okay.
Only because I've seen with Tom Brady the first 4 to 5 weeks, you can't really overreact to them struggling, or even if they play somewhat well. He usually starts off slow because he doesn't play a lot in the preseason. He's an older guy, so it takes him a few weeks to get settled in. But I think starting this week, I think we'll start to see the Bucs really take off, and the Steelers, they're going through a rebuild. Mike Tomlin is a good coach. I fully believe he'll at least have the team ready to go to start with, but yeah, I think it's gonna be another tough one for them, and I think the Bucs win this one easy. Although Pickett played well, even though it didn't look that way if you look at the score, he still threw over 300 yards, so he'll be fine. It's just gonna take them a couple of weeks to probably get their first win with him. But yeah, I'd go with the Bucs.
Okay. Kahlil, do you have a certain, or do you have a lock yet, or a guarantee lock pick?
Yeah, I know I just talked crap about them, but I'll go with the Rams. I just think the Panthers are bad.
Okay, that's a good
one. As simple as that. Nothing really much to say about the Panthers.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good pick. I didn't know they're playing this week. Oh yeah, that's a good pick.
Yeah, if you're interested in taking that -10 spread, do it. They're at home. Just do it.
Let me see. Okay. So we got Ravens, Giants. Now this might be the Giants like real. I mean, it's think about who they played. They played the Titans one last minute. They played the Bears 2012. They beat them. They beat the Packers. They lost to the Cowboys. I'm not sure who their fourth win was against. Was it their fourth? So Packers,
Titans.
Bears, Titans,
and Panthers.
Yeah.
Oh, they beat the Panthers.
Yeah, they ain't playing nobody.
So obviously, I'll give them their flowers. They're 4-1, but I think this week the Ravens, like, this is their actual real first test of like an actual like good defense and offense. I know New York Giants fans are like, oh, we're gonna win. Daniel Jones, Barkley. The only person I'm worried about is mainly Barkley because he's used to that playing on that turf. And that's the one thing I'm worried about that turf for Lamar and all the other players I was playing. That turf is deadly. I'm not sure what the weather's going to be like on Sunday. It should be sunny. It better not rain because that's not going to be good for that turf. But I feel like the Ravens definitely win this game because obviously the Jets or Giants they're different teams. But I mean, I know we kind of beat the Jets first week. I know Joe Flacco started quarterback that game, but I don't know. I feel like this is going to be like I think the Giants are going to get their wake up call this game because Lamar is definitely. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is definitely is not Lamar. Lamar is more mobile. He can do it with his feet, and they got the best kicker in the league right now. At the end of the day, but that shouldn't be what it comes down to a field goal. I feel like we're gonna I think their money line. I think they're for that game. I think Ravens are
favorite. They're
5.5.
5.5 point favorites. So I mean, don't player I'm worried about is Barkley because he's been going off. We need to somehow put a stop to him. But I mean, I can see Daniel Jones throwing a couple of interceptions this game, man, because the way Marcus Peters is going off, Marlon Humphrey's on the other side. We got Brandon Stevens coming up, and Geno Stone, another good player, young player coming up in the team. I just feel like it's gonna be a good game because Dobbins and Barkley, because Dobbins they're both explosive running backs, so that's gonna be a good game to watch. But I had the Ravens beating the Giants. Possibly, I think maybe the score can be like 28-20 or no 27-20. I think. So I guess Kyle or Kelly, you can go next. Sorry for your opinion for that game.
This is an interesting matchup because I think
it is
because the Giants are more of a second half team and you guys are more of a first half team,
right?
And I think like you guys are such polar opposites. Like I feel like as much as Lamar does like play action, he doesn't rely on it, and I feel like Daniel Jones relies a lot off of that play action. And defensively, you guys are very similar. I do like Adoree Jackson this year. He's been very good. It's going to be an interesting game to watch. I really don't know how this game's going to go. I'm not going to go as far to say they're my upset of the week, but it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I agree that I feel like the Giants will probably keep it close, only because you can see like Daboll has that team really believing. And it was interesting that you said, Jordan, about New York and Daniel Jones. Giants fans don't even like Daniel Jones. They wanted to run him out like 2 years ago.
Yeah, now they're all like, "Oh, Daniel Jones, we want to sign him to a long-term contract."
Yeah. Well, that's just right now.
Yeah.
The next time they lose to like the Cowboys or the Eagles, they'll be looking to run him out of town anyway. But it's an interesting relationship Daniel Jones has with that city because, yeah, he was probably taken way too high, but I mean, he can make plays. The biggest thing with him was he threw a lot of stupid interceptions, and if Dable can kind of, mold him into, a quarterback that takes care of the ball, I think he's serviceable. You might not win a Super Bowl with him, but he could at least have the Giants in the conversation. Because before that, I mean, the Giants have been kind of irrelevant for the last few years. But yeah, I expect the Ravens to win this game. but I think like you, where you have it kind of like around a touchdown game, I think that's where this game will probably be.
And like, do you see like the Ravens winning it or Giants winning it?
But I think the Ravens win it. But I
Okay.
think the Giants will keep it close.
Oh yeah, I see. Like Khalil says, this gonna be very very interesting because he does bring up a good point of how the Giants are like a second half team, and we are like a first half team. But in a real world, we should be both halves because like obviously the two games that we lost, I mean we were up so big. Then in the second half we just Miami we kind of like dropped the egg, and then against the Bills we were up big, and then we just dropped the egg. So I mean we should be off of the ball good on both halves, but like you said, this is a very interesting game as far as like us. I feel like we had to get up to a good lead and then like kind of just have our defense kind of like sit on Daniel Jones. And I mean, I don't know any other good receivers on the Giants like Galladay.
I like Tony, but he's not. Yeah, I don't know when he's gonna play. Like,
So I don't know who the receivers are on the Giants. I'm not.
yeah, they
They
have
have,
Tony.
Slayton or
Slayton's
something?
gonna play.
Oh, Slayton, yeah.
Yeah.
He had a good game last week. Galladay. What's the other one? Oh, Shepard's out for the season.
Yeah.
So and then they have this 13 guy. It's not Odell. I don't know what his name is.
Yeah.
They've been really like pushing off of Barkley. That's what it's been.
Yeah. So I mean, if we can stop Berkeley, we can stop the Giants. I mean, that's really there. I
It's
mean,
gonna be a
that's
tough job, but yeah.
oh yeah, it's like I'm saying it like it's gonna be easy, but yeah, it's hard. It's gonna be hard. But like you said, Berkeley is kind of like their offense. You know what I'm saying? He's their Pistons of the team. So it's the next game on the schedule. It's gonna be. I'm probably just had a prime time game, but Bills and Chiefs. It's gonna be a good one. I don't know who's gonna win that game. To be honest, it's gonna be a slugfest because I know Bills have a chip on their shoulder of losing that game in the AFC Conference Championship.
Yep.
And I believe it was the OT. So I don't know. This game is a toss up.
The overtime rule is what the Bills fans will say is the problem.
Yeah.
Watch that game. The Bills defense just had to make a stop. I mean, they took the lead with like 20 seconds left and managed to let Kansas City drive down the field. So the overtime rules is not the problem in that game at all. But I actually think Buffalo wins this one for the same reason that you said. To Buffalo, this will be like a Super Bowl game to them,
Right.
because they'll be getting revenge on that. Whereas Kansas City will go into this, saying it's just a normal game. And I expect it to be a shootout. So I'm looking like 45-40, that type of game.
45. Wow, that's realistic too. I think Buffalo, they're 2.5 point favorites.
Yeah.
So and they're an Arrowhead too. So I mean that I know that's gonna be rocking regardless. Chloe, what are your opinions on the game, man?
It's gonna be a great game. I'm excited. I got Bills strong. Why do I have Bills? I think their receiving core is great. I think Gabe Davis is going to show why he is a good wide receiver too. Josh Allen has been phenomenal this year. Like I don't think people understand like what he's doing. And I think people saw it in the first game, right? But like he's continued it like every single game. He looks unstoppable. Like honest to God, he looks unstoppable. I don't think Kansas City will be the one to stop him. And I think he's going to have a dominant performance. And they might, honest to God, they might blow him out the water.
Who, the Bills?
They might blow Kansas City out the water.
Oh, yeah.
What the Bills are going to do, they're just going to push on the accelerator and not take it off. They're not pushing on the brake. And I think Kansas City, if they don't start off hot, it's not going to end well.
That's also a good point because Kansas City has started off slow in games. The only thing is the other team hasn't been able to capitalize on it. Because we saw with the Chargers, where the Chargers started off hot, but then it slowly started drifting back towards Kansas City, and then they took over. Buffalo is built that if you give them a lead early, they will keep their foot on your neck and they will continue to score. So I'm I can see what Khalil's saying, and even
Yeah.
Gene on the Thursday show, he's like Kahlil. He thinks Buffalo is going to roll Kansas City.
Yep.
So, I, I mean, I'm predicting it to be closer, but I could easily see Buffalo win by like 2 scores easy.
I mean, you got to remember last year too. They played them last year and blew them out the water.
Yeah.
And that was with Tyreek. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like y'all both said, I mean, this game is gonna come down to, Buffalo. I mean, obviously, Kansas City receiving course without Tyreek Hill looks a little bit different than last year, and the years prior. I think Buffalo has a better receiving corpse than Tyreek, or I mean, not Tyreek, Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis. Yeah, and it could. I don't know. I mean, I see the Bills winning this game. Just because, like Kahlil said, like Buffalo. I mean, they're not the Raiders. They're not the Chargers. The Bills will run you down. I mean, I'm not surprised, but the Ravens. I mean, we're probably the first team who's had a big lead against Josh Allen. Because usually Bills they start off hot. Off the bat. Allen threw that first pick against us, kind of started off slow. But the Bills, like with any other team, like they like both y'all said, like the Bills will, if they get out to a lead early, they will run down your throat and they will disrespect y'all respectively. So it's just business is business. But yeah, I mean, I feel like the Bills can win this game, but I mean, some might give the edge to Kansas City because they're in Arrowhead, and that crowd can, obviously it was the same situation back in last year's playoffs. So, they're home, but that crowd can be a factor too. You know what I'm saying? But no, I do have the Bills winning this game.
When you watch this game though, like watch Josh Allen and watch how focused he is.
He's gonna be
I've
locked in.
never seen like. And I don't mean to like overreact on this, but he's a different level.
I mean, I know the Cowboys and Eagles are saying that game, but I'm surprised it's not the same night game. I thought the Eagles and Cowboys were gonna be 4 o'clock game. This should be the primetime game. Everyone's going to have their eyeballs on. I think.
Cowboys Eagles, the media loves that rivalry and the history between those two, so they will always put them.
But usually, I thought that was a Thanksgiving game, though.
No,
no.
They always have Cowboys on Thanksgiving.
Cowboys always on Thanksgiving, yeah.
And usually the Lions are always on Thanksgiving too. Bears, but Eagles usually are never Thanksgiving.
Yeah, they usually don't waste this rivalry on Thanksgiving. Yeah. But I think just one last point on this game.
Yeah.
Buffalo is the more complete team, which you can probably see in the money line why they're favored. And Arrowhead, yes, it's intimidating to some quarterbacks, but there are quarterbacks that are capable of going. I mean, we saw Brady. Brady would go into Kansas City and play well. Just like Kahlil said, Josh Allen has gotten to that point where you can see his main focus is he wants that ring. He needs that ring. And I think he feels like this year is his best chance to get one. And we're seeing him take it out on defenses. I mean, what he did against Pittsburgh was unfair. I mean, first, you knocked the Steelers with a 98-yard passing play to Gabe Davis. And then Gabe Davis was actually covered pretty well by Fitzpatrick. He threw it up there anyway, and Davis came down with it. So he has a lot of confidence, and I think that's why the Arrowhead thing won't be that big of a factor to him. Unless they start off slow, then maybe it's something. But yeah, going into it, he'll be fine.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good game to watch for that game. And I guess last week we talked about the for the NFL we talked about the Sunday night game, Cowboys Eagles. I mean, I believe that. I mean, just like the Ravens and Giants, I feel like this is the Eagles' first test of defense. You know what I'm saying? Like with a great defense, like with Michael Parsons and Trayvon Diggs. Now, I mean, since it's in Philadelphia, I do get the edge to Philadelphia because they're at home, but it's gonna be a slugfest between the two teams. Like just because Trayvon is a ball hawker, Michael Parsons will get to the quarterback. DeMarcus Lawrence is unbelievably good this year. I know he's been injury prone this past couple of years, but with the healthy Lawrence, like we all saw what he did against the Rams, had that fumble recovery, and I think DeMarcus Lawrence came out and said that I think in the statement he was like, "Oh, I don't know. I mean, I can't speak on the Eagles right now because they're facing our defense." So he kind of said what I just said. You know what I'm saying? I think the defense is going to be a factor in this game. I don't know. I kind of have Cowboys upsetting them, but then again, I kind of have since they're at home Philly, I had Philly winning, but I don't know. I'm kind of 50-50. It's going to be a good game, but this is going to be Eagles' first actual test of a good, solid defense. And
It's
Cooper
gonna
Rush is
be
going off too, man. Like
it's gonna be a test for Dallas too because
yeah.
the Eagles defense isn't that bad, and their secondary is actually really good. And I think that's going to be an interesting thing where when Cooper Rush does throw the ball, he's got to go up against Bradbury and Slay, and that's probably the best cornerback duo in the league right now. So
I think that's probably the biggest X factor in the game too. Like I think everybody's looking at this Eagles offense against Dallas defense,
yep.
when it should be like, look, Eagles defense is Dallas offense. And you're going to see a lot of running from Dallas, a lot of play action, and they're going to have to, if they don't run the ball well, they're not winning this game, Dallas. And I think it's as simple as that.
Yep.
Whether, Jalen Hurts rushes for 5 yards or 20, I think the real X factor of this game is going to be that.
Right. So I know we did our locks of the week. We should do our upsets of the week, and then we should go to MLB talk. So I get my upset of the week. I'm not sure if Kahlil, you want to go first for your upset pick?
Yeah, just in case any of you guys take mine, I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with Seattle against Arizona. I really like the matchup. As much as Seattle's defense has been really bad this year, I think Kenneth Walker being that factor. I think DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and Geno Smith has been playing extremely well. Them being at home, I mean, I think they've had 2-3 straight road games. I believe. So I think them being back at home is going to make them feel good, and I think they're going to put up a lot of points on Arizona.
Okay, I can see that one too.
So you have the Seahawks beating the Cardinals or Cardinals beating the Seahawks?
Seahawks beating the Cardinals.
Okay.
I think them being at home is huge, and I think that was what really pushed me to pick them.
All right, Kyle, you want to go next? I'm trying to decide my upset.
I'm going Homer on this one. I'm taking my Patriots to upset the Browns. The Browns are a 2.5-point favorite. The one thing that does worry me is at times the Patriots' run defense can be a little shaky, and the best thing Cleveland has going for them is their running backs. But I see the improvements in the Patriots' defense. They have a lot more speed on that side of the ball than they've had past years, and their secondary has some ball hawks, especially Jack Jones, who is slowly becoming my favorite Patriots player right now because I just love he has a little cockiness to him, but he's making plays out there, so you can't get mad at him. And then Bailey Zappi has been steady so far. This might be his biggest test because the Browns defense, especially in their secondary, they're pretty good out there as well. But I just think the Patriots in this one get the win, and I expect kind of a big day out of Jacoby Myers again.
And Ramondre Stevenson, man.
Yeah.
So Kahlil has Seahawks against the Arizona. You got your Patriots versus the Browns.
Yep.
I'm gonna go on a limb and do I'm gonna pick Jaguars over the Colts.
I thought about that one
because
the Jags aren't a favorite in that game.
No,
surprising. I think because it's in Indy,
up by 2 points. So
going straight to FanDuel right now.
So
putting the bet down.
The reason why I picked the Jaguars is because obviously I trust I trust Trevor Lawrence and their coach Doug Peterson. I mean, obviously they're 2-3, but Jaguars offense overall they're 13th in the league with total offense overall. They're 16th in their rush in the pass rush and 15th in scoring. The Jaguars defense is ninth overall in their league. So the Colts offense they're 24th. So I mean, the players that like I'm gonna watch out for sure is Christian Kirk. I know he had one drop or one catch game last week, but I expect him to go off against the Colts defense. The key matchup I'm really gonna look out for in that game for the upset is because Jacksonville's run defense versus Indy's running backs because John Taylor's out like Kahlil said.
I'm sorry, Jonathan Taylor is playing.
Oh, he's playing. He's playing. Okay.
He's back.
So he's back. Yeah. So I mean, I still will look at that the run defense versus the Indies running backs. So I mean, Taylor. I mean, I know he's dealing with a toe and ankle. His backup Hines is in protocol. But so they're both on the injury report. But I think Taylor's going to play. I know key injuries. I mean, I know Jaguars they're without Ben Barch. But yeah, this game is. I mean, with Lawrence going off, I mean he's 2-3. I do see them upsetting the Colts in this game. I mean, even though they should be the favorites, the Jaguars, but like you said, they're at home. They're a 2-point favorite. I mean, they should be a 3-point favorite because didn't you say like home teams get 3 points off the bat?
But that just lets you know that they probably think the Jaguars could win this one.
Gonna come back, yeah.
Yeah. Jaguars play well against the Colts. It's one of the weird things with the AFC South. They can't beat the Texans, but they can beat the Colts. I can't figure it out.
Yeah, so that's gonna be my upset. Jags over the Colts. Like any final thoughts for the NFL before we move on to the MLB? Any final NFL thoughts?
All I'm gonna say is, I mean, like Kyle said, I think Patriots are actually gonna get that win. You're convincing me more and more. Roger Stevenson is the truth.
Yeah,
he is the truth.
Yeah.
So that's all I gotta say about that.
All right, so let's segue. Let's move into the next segment, the second to last segment. Last is the NBA. Let's focus on the MLB. I know you got the playoffs right now. I'm not sure if y'all are like I would say I don't know if y'all are religiously watching the playoffs like I am, but like I'm gonna get y'all reaction on the game so far. I know Yankees had their first round bye, and now they're playing against the Guardians. I know that tough loss that can be had. Oh yeah, Yankees baby. Even though we lost against in a tough game against the Guardians today. But yeah, let me get y'all reactions to like the game so far, like NL and AL.
Yeah. So I remember that Tuesday I said, watch the Braves Philly series because with that one being 1-1 leaving Atlanta, I think that was a great position for Philly because, they won today with Nola on the mound. And I think the Phillies could actually win again tomorrow. And if they are able to do that, get the Braves down 3-1, that's going to be a big story because the Braves coming in as the defending champions. And I think they had a really good chance at possibly getting back to the World Series. If they were to go out like this, it'd be a little tough. I mean, the Yankees, the Guardians kind of did what they wanted to. They split in New York. So now going to Cleveland, Game 3 becomes that much more important. And especially with the last few years with the Yankees where they haven't had the playoff success that they wanted. If the Guardians could take a lead in the series, then that's going to put a lot of pressure on this group for the Yankees to win Game 4. And that kind of pressure can be what a team like the Guardians can feed off of and pull an upset. I mean, I wouldn't push the panic button yet in New York. I'd probably push it a little bit in Atlanta, but and even the Dodgers Padres, that's another series where I'm slowly like coming around on the Padres possibly upsetting the Dodgers. I just think that these wild card teams are coming into this round with a lot of momentum, and they're not scared of any of these teams. So I've been enjoying it. I'm pretty big baseball fan, so I'll watch it any time of the year. But baseball playoffs are just a little bit different because it seems like every hit, every home run, strikeout is just that much more magnified in the playoffs, and that's what I love about it.
I mean, Kyle, we were on the podcast on Tuesday, and like you saw my like real reaction to the Houston Astros game, game
Yeah,
one.
the walk off. Yeah.
I mean, the Yankees beat the Guardians. They won 4-1. Phillies, I mean, won by 1.76. The Astros won on a walk off 8-7, and then Dodgers won game one 5-3. On Wednesday, the Braves took that game 1 3-0. Padres took game one 5-3, and they're currently playing right now. I think Padres are up by 1 or 2.
Mm-hmm.
Astros, they're 2-0, all right, against the Mariners. And then Thursday, which we're going to get into for this whole postponed game and schedule, the Thursday night game got postponed to today's game for the Yankees for the rain delay. The Phillies actually took game two 9-1 against the Braves, so they're up to Phillies lead series 2-1. And Guardians game it was 4-2. It's just that game I watched. I think it was like the 7th or 6th inning. There was 2 weak hits by the Guardians that were like fly balls. One was a hit to left field, and I think who was left field today? Who played left field? Was it left field? It was Cabrera.
Okay, yeah.
One was hit to him, and he dropped it. Actually, he almost had to catch the slide catch to get the out, but he missed it. And then the other one was a blooper to right field, very fly ball. I think right field was it Stan? I mean not Stan. I mean no, that wasn't Judge's fault. I think it was Rizzo's fault with that pop fly they missed, and I believe Ramirez, had that hit off that first fly ball. He grounded to third base, and then that's when was it one of the hitters brought Ramirez around to score. And then the second hit, the fly ball that they missed, they scored off of that. So it was 4-2. Our defense needs to be a lot better late in the game on that side. But now, like the next topic I want to get into, like, do you think with both teams, with this whole schedule, with the whole game being postponed on Thursday, so the Yankees, I mean, they play today, then they play tomorrow, then they play Sunday, back-to-back games. So do you think, like, this can affect, in a way, both teams or the one team? Because obviously, I think you have to have – usually it's a game and a day break, and then you play again.
Mm-hmm.
But since the game got postponed on Thursday, now they play Friday, Saturday, Sunday. What do y'all think about the whole schedule, like, with that? Like, do you think that had an effect on, fatigue?
Definitely. I think it will affect both teams for sure. I mean, both of them are going to be tired. But at the end of the day, though, they still have the same, situation going on. At the end of the day, both teams are going to be fatigued. It's going to be the same thing. I don't think it really makes a difference in the entire series. So that's, yeah, it's going to be a great series. So I would have said it's going to be a great series.
Yeah. I know Luis Severino is starting tomorrow, so that should be a good start. And then you got Tristan McKenzie pitching on the other side. I mean, match predictor. I mean, They have Yankees winning 56% to Cleveland 44% winning percentage for that game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, I mean that it's gonna be a good series. I mean, but it's crazy how the Guardians are now made it a best of three series in a way where we were supposed to not clean sweep the Guardians, but obviously beat them down. But obviously they're not gonna
Well,
lay
that
down easily.
I think that thought was only because the Guardians are relatively new to the postseason, so and I don't think they're a team that a lot of people outside of Cleveland necessarily watch regularly. So we all know about the Yankees. We know Aaron Judge. We know the guys there. So it was easy to be like, oh yeah, they'll handle the Guardians. But I do think with this postponement and now the 3 games in a row, that could work into the Guardians' favor, especially with the next team being in Cleveland. And if Cleveland can steal Game 3, we might see some tightness on the Yankees side where they might start pressing at the plate, which I think will play perfectly into Cleveland's hands. So I feel like situations like that always favor the underdog because Cleveland's coming into this series, they're not expected to win. So they can be a little bit more aggressive on the bases. They can, maybe be aggressive at the plate, swing at pitches they normally wouldn't. And if they get a bloop hit here or there, it's more of a bigger deal for them than a Yankees team that they expect to go to the plate, hit the ball all around the yard, and dominate a Cleveland team. So I actually think that the postponement favors Cleveland.
Oh, you really? Okay. Yeah, I mean, like in a way, I kind of see like the rain delay like affecting both teams, but like yeah, like I think just because like now it switches over, so now yeah, I mean it would have been 2-0 Yankees if they won, so the pressure would have been more on Cleveland, but now since it's 1-1, I feel like
Right.
the pressure is on Cleveland or on Yankee on New York.
Right.
Yeah,
That's kind of why I said it probably favors
and
Cleveland
Aaron Judge, I
because
mean, he was 0 for 7 today, man. Like it wasn't himself, man. Just couldn't get a base hit, and that can't happen in Game 3. That cannot happen in Game 3. Stanton needs to step it up.
Mhm.
Rizzo, I mean, we had the players. I mean, we had the pieces. We just weren't. I know Shane Bieber was pitching. I mean, he had a good outing. But like we have Aaron Judge, Stanton, Rizzo, Oswaldo Cabrera. We have all these good players. Players that can hit home runs, and we just go over 7. Like that can't happen. I don't want to put the weight on all Aaron Judge's shoulders because like obviously he's had a good season, but like with him being the top player on the team, he has to at least get a base hit or like get a freaking a double or something like that. Like he didn't get nothing.
that's what playing for the Yankees gets you. Everybody's gonna look at him.
But I feel like Aaron Judge will step it up in Game 3. Obviously, the pressures are kind of on them, and I think that Aaron Boone and the squad knows that. So it's going to be a good Game 3. So I think the next topic of that. So let's go around round table, like our World Series picks. So I'm thinking my World Series pick Yankees and Dodgers in World Series. That's my 2 teams in the World Series. Kahlil, what do you see for your World Series matchup?
I'm not delusional. I'm gonna go with the Dodgers. I just think
Well, Dodgers
I
are
really,
winning.
I really want to say the Padres so
Yeah.
bad, but I'm not going to. I'm going to go with the Dodgers. I'm just going to go with the Astros. I'm going to go with the 2 favorites. Really hard for me not to pick those 2 favorites. Why? Astros always manage to beat the Yankees. I think if it comes down to it, Astros will win it. I think, they're coming out strong. They look great. Same thing with the Dodgers. I think their one match that I think this season probably in general was probably the Mets, but at least for the season series, I would say. But I think the Dodgers are going to take it. I think the Dodgers and the Astros are going to be that World Series. And I like the colors, too. It's nice colors. Orange and blue. I think it's a perfect color combo for the World Series.
Yeah, but I mean, I definitely hear you, but I feel like what every like big MLB fan wants to see is the two historical teams in the playoffs or in the World Series, Yankees
Yeah,
and
you can say
Dodgers.
what you want.
New Yorkers want that.
Yeah, you can say what you want, but at the end of the day, like,
but
it's
after, I
only
mean,
going to be so much. And I love the Yankees. I'm just a New York guy when it comes to baseball. I love Yankees, Mets, however you want to do it. But at the end of the day, we got to be realistic. And Yankees,
Dodgers. I mean, they can get upset right now. I mean, Dodgers are they're 1-0 right
yes,
now.
same thing with the Astros.
So
I think the
yeah,
Astros really had a bad shot Mariners had a shot a little bit in that first game, but
yeah.
I think Astros, they're going to get going, and I think they'll be fine. And I think same thing with the Dodgers.
I almost think that the Yankees have been gearing up this whole season to face the Astros in the playoffs, and maybe that could be some reason with them maybe looking a little sluggish against Cleveland at times. But if they don't take care of business against Cleveland, they'll find themselves not even getting that opportunity. But I do think the Astros come out of the American League, and as a Red Sox fan, that's tough for me to say because I don't like the Astros that much. But and it's even harder to pick the Dodgers because I think I said this on Tuesday, but I'm not a Machado fan. With the Machado's not even in LA anymore, so I guess I could pick the Dodgers. But I think I had the Braves before, but I'm really worried about them against the Phillies.
Mm-hmm.
I do like Mookie Betts, so yeah, I guess I'll probably have to go Astros, Dodgers as well. Although I would love to see the Padres minus Machado there.
Right. I guess our last topic for the MLB would be like I guess the segment into the last segment I guess what teams would be or what teams would you see being upset in this round, like this second round? Like I mean the way it's going. I mean, I know it's 1-0 right now, like bottom of the third. Padres up 1-0. I feel like if the Padres can get more runs, they can upset the Dodgers, man. Um, I mean, obviously the Dodgers are not vulnerable. They can be beaten.
Mm-hmm.
They can be beat. I think I say that for any team in the MLB in the playoffs right now. It's fair game for anyone, but for a team that's in the NL, Pirates can do it. They can really upset them right now, and but I feel like if they didn't have their number, then I mean, obviously Dodgers would be 2-0 right now, but it's 1-1, and Padres are up 1-0 right now. So I can also see. Well, obviously I can't say upset because I mean Houston, they're up 2-0 against the Mariners. But yeah, I mean I kind of see the Dodgers get upset. I mean, if the Yankees or if the Astros do meet the Astros in the if the Astros do meet Yankees in the playoffs or in the third round, I mean, if we can get it going, I mean, there's going to be a good series because, like Kyle, like you said that, if they had been gearing up this whole season to play the Astros because everyone's
Mm-hmm.
saying, oh, I know they hear, oh, y'all can't beat the Astros. They hear all that noise, so they're gonna bring that fire to the Astros. The 1-2 in the conference, so I mean, that's gonna be a good series if they match up.
I'd still pick the Astros, but
I want to hear y'all. Like, who do y'all see being upset in these rounds?
As it's looking right now, Phillies are going to upset. Wow, I just blank on who they're facing.
The Braves.
Braves, there we go, Braves. Yeah,
that's the same one. I think that one's going to actually happen.
I thought it beforehand. Phillies got it. I really don't believe that much in the Braves. I think they were lucky to get the spot anyway. Mets really did choke it, but yeah, I just feel Philly all the way in that one.
Yeah.
All right. I guess that does it for the MLB segment or topics. And now dive into the NBA. I got a couple topics. So we're gonna just go around real quick. Each person's gonna give their top 5 players in each conference to watch out for this upcoming season. Then we had the Lakers to test out Russell Westbrook on the bench with the second unit. I'm gonna talk about that. And then teams to watch out for this season. And then the last one, I guess it ties into the Lakers one. Would taking Russell out the starting 5 help the Lakers this season? So the first segment or the first topic, top 5 players in each conference. We can take our time to or speed through that first topic. So I guess Clay, you want to go first? Top 5 players in each conference to watch out for.
All right, we're back. Sorry about that.
Cool. That's all good, bro.
You're saying the best people to watch out for, or
For your opinion, like top 5 or from each, I would say AFC, Eastern and Western Conference, like
breakout or the best players in the conference?
I guess breakout.
Whew. Might have to get back to me on that one.
All right.
I guess when you said, I was thinking like 5 best players in the East, but I think I could probably work it to where you're saying like breakout.
Yeah, I was saying like the 5. I guess 5 players to like watch out.
Okay,
watch for.
I think I got you. Are you wanting them in order?
No.
Okay. Then that makes it easy for me.
Yeah.
I would say I'm gonna go Homer first. Jaylen Brown. I love everything about Jaylen Brown because he makes improvements to his game every year. We saw in the offseason all that underwater workout, which I mean that's just beast mode right there. So I think he has a lot to prove this season. 2, I would go. I'm interested. Well, this one's probably more of an interest, but what Donovan Mitchell, Cleveland, because last season Cleveland kind of got in trouble where late in games they didn't really have a go-to guy to get him a basket. That's literally what Donovan Mitchell can do. So I want to see how adding him to that team, what that does to Cleveland. I don't think it shoots them all the way up the East standings, but I think it puts them comfortably in the top 6, where they pretty much were all of last season, but then fell out by the end of it. 3, I would go. I mean, Giannis is always on my list because I just love Giannis's mentality. He's not one of these guys who tries to be friends with people on the other team. When he steps on the court, it's all about him in Milwaukee against the world. And I love that about him. And he's also a guy that you see trying to make improvements to his game. He's not the best shooter, but each year you see him take more jump shots so you can actually see that it's something that he works on. 4, I would go. I mean, this one's more of a. Well, I guess I'll say the name and then I'll explain it. I think Ben Simmons is going to be an interesting dynamic in Brooklyn because it's either going to completely burn down in Brooklyn or we may see the best version of Brooklyn if Ben Simmons is locked in, if he's confident in himself. And I think that unlocks so much potential in that Brooklyn team. And then my last one would be. I mean, I could go Homer again and say Jason Tatum because I think with Tatum, Tatum's a guy who so much wants to be Kobe that I think he's coming into this season wanting to be an MVP type guy. And with them bringing Brogdon in, I think that takes a lot of pressure off Jason Tatum late in games. And because of that, I think we're going to see the best version of Jason Tatum. And if he and Brown can both take it to another level at the same time this season, I think the Celtics will be really scary to play against. So I think those are the 5 for me.
All right, that's a good list. So I guess I'll start on the East Coast or Eastern Conference. So for me, number one, even though I'm not a Knicks fan, I'm gonna say Brunson because they spent all that money on him. I want to see how he gels with that team with Barrett. I mean, listen, Knicks don't really have they don't have a bad. I mean, they got Barrett, they got Quickly. I mean, they have Toppin. They have Randall, which is he should be able. He's a
They need to move Randall.
find himself. Yeah, but I want to see Brunson like he came from the Mavericks with Luka Doncic. He was that first, second option. I think Luka was his first on that team, and then Brunson was that second. But yeah, I'm very curious to see like how they use Brunson. Because after they paid them the big bucks to. Obviously they wanted to get Donovan Mitchell on the team, but they laid the egg with that, and they got Brunson. So that's number one. The number one player I want to watch out for. 2, I have. It's kind of close. I do have Tatum on my list because, like, obviously, I'm curious to see what the whole coaching situation and how you said it's not really because they have an internal coach that's coaching the team. So I want to see how Tatum does. I know he was kind of like hurt in the. I think he said he was hurt in like the playoffs last year. I think
He had a wrist injury.
Injury. So I want to see like how he does with the returning players of Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart. Number 3, I have Jimmy Butler because I know he's very from the Heat because I know he was kind of mad that he lost that series because that last second shot he missed. But obviously I kind of had faith in Eric Spoelstra and that team to do good in the East with him, Lowry, Bam Adebayo, got Tyler Hero, and then Duncan Robinson. So number 4, I do have Ben Simmons on my list because just curious to see like if he does, get his mind right. The team has faith in him coming back. I believe that, like, when he gets, more reps playing with the team, he can guard anybody on the court, at a high level. But obviously it's hard to say because we haven't seen him play in almost like 2, I mean, a year and a half now.
Mm-hmm.
So we haven't really seen him play, but the healthy Ben Simmons, a healthy Kyrie, and a healthy KD, Ben Simmons can add value to that Nets team that they need. So number 5, man, number 5, I have DeJounte Murray because obviously he came from the Spurs, a different system. Now he's paired up with Trey Young. There's going to be an exciting backcourt to watch. I think he's more. Murray's more skilled with the defensive side as a point guard, and I'm willing to see like with his athleticism, on that side of the ball, like how they can stretch the floor out. So I'm curious to see Atlanta this year with the new backcourt. I could go Eastern Conference first. So, Club, if you have your players now,
I got it. I got them all.
All right.
I'll go with the Eastern Conference. Number 1, as a Bulls fan, I want to see what Patrick Williams is doing. I like the draft pick when we got him. Huge X factor for our team defensively. He's an unbelievable player. I want to see if he really has that jump shot. I'm at least when I watch him, I see why we compare him to Kawhi Leonard. And I want to see more of that and see if he can develop that sort of, comparison. There we go. Number 2, I'm going with Tyrese Maxey. Kentucky alum. I think he's going to be a huge part of the 76ers this year. James Harden and Embiid are going to run that pick and roll. Once teams are going to guard that, who are they going to kick it out to? Tyrese Maxey. It's going to be a huge part of that offense. I'm very excited for him. He started off the preseason really nice. I want to see if he can continue to do that. Number 3 is an interesting one. I'm going to go with Jonathan Isaac. I think he's a guy who we haven't seen play in a while. He's a great defensive player, at least in the bubble, and before that, he's been a great defensive player, 6'8". I liked him coming out of the draft. I want to see what he can do with this team. I think they actually have a lot of nice pieces like Cole Anthony, Paulo Banchero, Markel. I actually do like Markel Fultz as well. I think he could be, one of those decent players. I think he was a great candidate for most improved before he got hurt.
Oh. I think we lost Kahlil for 1 second. Oh crap! We lost Kahlil for a little bit.
Okay. Oh, do you guys hear me?
I guess.
There we go.
Well, we lost him again. So, I guess we can go to the. I don't.
He had an interesting list going. I will say that. I was kind of surprised, pulled the Markel Fultz out.
Yeah.
Because I feel bad for Markel Fultz only because it's because where he was drafted, why he has so much attention on him. And I do think there is a really good basketball player in his body somewhere. Just that you look at that draft, that was what the Tatum draft. And who else was in that draft? I can't remember. But I know only because of where Tatum's gone with his career that we look at Fultz and we're like, clearly that was a bad pick. And he was really good coming out of Washington. And he's kind of one of those guys like Ben Simmons where I think it's a confidence thing with him because it got to the point where he completely lost his shot. It seemed like every week he was like fiddling with his shooting motion, and now I think he's starting to get back there. So I appreciate that pick from Markel Fultz. Talking about him real quick.
Oh yeah, we were talking about your picks so far. How they were good.
Sorry about that, guys.
It's all good.
Third person or fourth person, I'm sorry, was Bradley Beal. Did I get that
okay.
off? I think the Wizards are a really interesting team this year with Kristaps Porzingis. I saw a little bit of them last year. They weren't that great. I want to see his leadership, what he's able to bring to this team, and what he could really do. And the last one is, I don't want to go with Ben Simmons, but I'm going to go with DeJounte Murray. I think he's a great player. I just personally, I'm kind of a doubter on this team. I just don't think Trae Young and DeJounte are going to work. I think one of them is going to have to come off the bench for them to flourish. And
oh wow,
yeah.
So you think they're gonna? So, well, I'm assuming they brought them on for them to start together, but
of course, that's their goal. I just don't think it meshed. It doesn't really make sense.
Padres too. Yeah, damn, got a home run.
So, did you guys want me to go in my West?
You can go West, or you can go first, and then I guess I'll go second, and then Kyle go third for the West.
All right, let's do it. Number 1 for the West, I got De'Aaron Fox. I think with Sabonis, I liked them in the pick and roll last year. They were working well. Really, I think Luke Walton's just a bad coach. I think that's just what it is. I think the team is great. They're not great. Let me not say that. They're a decent team. I think they could be a play-in team. Malik Monk is unreal right now. He's unreal. I think he's a great player. And I think that's a good solid team. Number 2. But you guys can hear me, right? Just make sure.
Khalil. Kyle can't hear you for some reason. 1 second.
There, you hear me now?
Hello.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you, Jordan.
He can hear me, but
Yeah,
oh,
that's weird. I don't know.
yeah. So you have De'Aaron Fox, and you have. Did you pick your second player in the West yet?
No, I'll do that now.
Oh,
Zion
okay, okay.
Williamson.
I was like,
Zion
okay.
Williamson. I
He
think
got
he's
Zion.
going to be under the
Also,
bright
Kyle,
lights this year.
he got De'Aaron Fox, and he has Zion for number 2 right now. So for the West.
Okay.
I think Zion's a huge player this year. Great team around him. I like it. Last year they were the 8th seed, almost took down the Suns. I think with Zion, they should take down the Suns. Uh, Number 3, John Wall. I think he's going to be the huge X factor in that Clipper team this year.
John Wall, okay.
Um, Clippers, I think, could really be title contenders. I think they should be competing for the title. If they're not, I'm a little concerned. So John Wall's my 3rd pick. 4th, I'm going to go with Luka Doncic. I think Luka Doncic should be the MVP this year. It's as simple as that. He's doing everything that Jokic does, except he does it better and he's more flashy. That's why I have Doncic at 4. And then number 5, I'm going to end off with Michael Porter Jr. Jamal Murray's coming back. Nikola Jokic is going to have to pass to somebody other than Jamal Murray. I think Michael Porter's really does have potential to be a 30-point scorer in this league, but it's going to have to take time. So, yeah, those are my picks.
Okay. Oh yeah. I mean, that's a good list. I mean, for mine, so for number 1, I got John Morant. I'm curious to see, that I think that Christmas game they play Grizzlies and Warriors.
Mhm.
Very electrifying player. Uh, Number 2, let me add a clip. Number 2, so I had John Morant for number 1. Number 2, you have to put LeBron up there in the West because he possibly could potentially pass Kareem Abdul-Jabbar this year if he averages, I think, like 20 points or 30 points per game this year. I think if he's almost there. For number 3, I do have John Wall because I want to see. I mean, I have much love for John Wall. I know he's been injury prone, and he's been through it, and I want to see him come back. I mean, it's hard to fit 5 players in the West, but so I got 3 John Wall, 4. I do have Kawhi making my list because, he hasn't really been. I mean, obviously he's been hurt. I haven't seen him since he played in Toronto. Technically, I think he played a couple games on the Clippers, but then he got hurt. And they got Paul George with him. So it's a matter about the 3 players gelling together, chemistry. But Kawhi, still, a good defender, can guard anyone. And then 5, this is a big question mark. Bearing health, I have AD on my list because if AD is healthy, he's. Let's talk about prior to the injuries. AD is 100%. He's a top 5 center in this league, and no question about it. But just about him taking care of his body. I feel like. I mean, I was going to put Luka at number 5, but this AD, because obviously Darwin Ham wants to center the offense around AD at the 5. So I feel like if AD can flourish at the 5 and stay healthy and stay consistent, you kind of put the pressure off LeBron, off his shoulders a little bit, helping him out, with him grabbing boards. He definitely can, have a good season this year. So yeah, that's my 5. So I have John Morant. I had what had I number 2? Shit. No. Huh?
John Wall somewhere.
I had John Morant. Oh, John Wall.
LeBron.
I had John Morant, LeBron. Yeah, I had John Wall, and then I had Kawhi, then I had AD. Okay, all right, that's my. All right, Kyle, what's your?
I had AD as well, and it makes sense that Ham wants to run the offense through AD because I know LeBron gets a lot of the credit for the bubble championship. AD was the most important player for them because when they needed baskets late, AD was the guy that they went to on the block and he got them baskets. He's also the most reliable, defender that they have. So if he can get through the season, he doesn't have to play all 82. He doesn't have to play 80 games. If they can get 65 games to 70 out of him, I think they'll count that as a win. So I got to go with AD. With the West, you could almost go with like trios on certain teams, but I'll probably go Karl Anthony Towns because I want to see what bringing Rudy Gobert there, what does that do for him? Because defensively, Cat has his moments where he's decent defensively, but then he still has these stretches where he gets lost. So with Gobert
Very
there to
lost.
help him out around the rim, that can unlock him a little bit more. Then offensively, I'm assuming this is going to push Towns more towards the perimeter where he is one of the better perimeter players as a big man. I do worry about him falling in love with the perimeter shot too much and taking something away from his game. 3, I would go. I mean, I almost want to just put the whole Phoenix Suns franchise on 3. More importantly, I guess Chris Paul, because each year we go into the season, everybody talks about is this the year Chris Paul can finally get a ring. I was one of those who said when they lost against Milwaukee that this Phoenix Suns group was going to be one and done. A lot of people thought I was crazy, but I really do believe that. I think that was their best chance, probably his best chance to get a ring. And I just don't think. I think their playoff inabilities is going to really seep into that team, and I think they're going to fail again this year. 4. I mean, I like what New Orleans is doing. So if you're going to pick New Orleans, I guess you'd have to go. Well, no, I'm not going to go Zion because I feel like everybody's looking at Zion, but I want to see with the full year of CJ McCollum down there, what that looks like because they have like a good mix of young and old down there, young and veteran players down there. I like Brandon Ingram. Uh, I'm not a Laker fan, but I feel like he got a raw deal in LA. They put a lot of blame on him. And then 5, I've got. Where do I want to go with 5? Jamal Murray.
Okay.
Jamal Murray's coming back from injury. I think he's the guy that Jokic has missed the most the past couple of years.
For sure.
And I think if he and Porter Jr. stay healthy, Denver is a top 3 team in the West.
Totally agree.
I totally agree. Totally agree. So I guess that leads on to our last and final segment for tonight. So like with just talking about the Lakers, like so I mean it's a good segment to talk about. So like so the Lakers are I think tonight in their preseason in their last preseason game tonight they're gonna try out Russell Westbrook come off the bench.
Should have been the plan from day one. But
right. So I guess the question is, I guess the question for y'all is, is that the right move? I mean, obviously, him working with that second unit with Lonnie Walker and Trent Jones and, Nunn. Yeah, I mean, I feel like that. I feel like LeBron and Russell don't really play well together, or either not the big 3 together combined. So if Russell, and I feel like in order for Russell to, get a ring, I think his only chance is to come off the bench, play with that second team, because he can play the 1 for the second team for sure. I mean, they have they have Lonnie Walker, they have Nunn, they have Austin Reeves, they have Damian Jones, Juan Connor Anderson, and I feel like this is their best. This is his best bet if he wants to contribute to the team to come off the bench. And everyone that I've talked to agrees that he should be off the bench start the season. So as long as he can accept that role, and be a team player and play that bench role like that sixth man or that role, I feel like they can do great things. Kyle or Clay, you want to piggyback off of that or
Yeah. Russell, I'll do you one better. I don't think Russell Westbrook should be on your team. I think he should have been traded. Should have been gone. Wasn't gonna work when the deal got done. Wasn't gonna happen. That's the way I feel about the DeJounte Murray thing as well. Look, you can call me whatever you want. If you want to call me a Russell Westbrook hater, that is fine. At the end of the day, he is an inconsistent shooter. All he really does is have to attack the rim and kick out. That's all he could really do. He is an average defender. He is an average defender at best. Look, I hate to like kill your dreams here. Should not be a starter on the Lakers specifically. Him and LeBron will never mesh. Will never work. If you need a third or fourth quarter and you want him to come in with Bron, don't ever do it. I don't want to see them on the same court. I don't even want to see them eating lunch together, honestly. I really don't want to see him at all. It needs to happen. Kendrick Nunn needs to start. I think Russell Westbrook should have been traded, and I think instead of getting Russell Westbrook, he should have got more shooters. I'll make this guarantee right here. If Russell Westbrook does not accept the role, Buddy Hield will be on the team before the season starts.
Oh,
and that's what I'll say about that.
Yeah. Well, I would love Buddy Hield on our team, man. But Kyle, can you clear or not?
No, I still can't.
Oh, he was saying how if Russell doesn't accept that role as a bench player, like he expects before the season starts to have Buddy Hield on the team before Russell off the team. which I would love Buddy Hield because he's a better shooter than Russell Westbrook. So that's a major boost.
Well, wasn't the rumor that they were looking at Buddy Hield, but LeBron wanted Westbrook, and that's why they got him?
Yes, but I think LeBron, as of late, he's getting an old age. Maybe his brain is not there, making me a little nervous. But yeah, they should get Buddy Hield. That's the best fit for the Lakers. You can't hear me.
Yeah. Oh, so he said that if Russell Westbrook doesn't really work, then Buddy Hield to be on the team. Which I don't have a problem with that. I thought it was gonna be Kyrie before the start of the season, but Kyrie's staying with Brooklyn for another year, or maybe till the trade deadline, possibly. Or, but Kyle, you have any takes about or thoughts about the whole Russ coming off the bench for the Lakers? And
yeah, it's like I said, that should have been the plan from day one. When they made the announcement that they were taking Westbrook on, the first thing I said was, if you're going to put him and LeBron on the floor together, it's never going to work. They forced it last year for whatever reason. I don't know if they didn't want to approach Westbrook about it or whatever, but literally everything Westbrook does, LeBron does the same, except for LeBron has a better jump shot. They both need space to operate because they need lanes to the rim. If you're going to put them both out there, they're just going to get in each other's way. And I also never bought into this, notion that Ham wanted Westbrook to be like a corner three specialist. That's not his game. And if they tried that plan, LA fans would have booed him from night one. So you put him on the second unit, he can run the fast break with them. You give him a couple of guys who are perimeter players that don't clog the lane for him. And then at least that way you get somewhat of the triple-double Westbrook, in little spurts with the bench unit. So it's something they should do, something they need to do, and something they have to do to salvage Westbrook's time in LA and make it at least the best it can be. So I think it's the right plan.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, Darvin Ham, I feel like he's definitely a better upgrade than Vogel when it comes to because I know the way he's worked in with Milwaukee, as an assistant coach. I guess when he's talking about the Lakers, the team, he wants obviously floor spacing. He clearly stated that he wants to also run on AD with LeBron by his side, and he said he has faith in Russell. When he talks about Russell, he's not wrong. When he's in OKC, he's probably one of the best point guards in that era. That's triple double. OKC. Westbrook area, so people kind of tend to shy away from that, from that part of his, playing that time. So,
but that's when he was ball dominant, though.
That's what I'm
he's
saying.
Not going to have that with LeBron on the court. That's what I was saying.
Yeah. But Darvin Ham said he sees Russell as a corner specialist, set corner, but I don't know that's going to work.
No.
No.
Oh my God. No. No, dude.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned. Now hearing that, I'm concerned for the Lakers. I'm very concerned. Yeah, no. If you want a corner specialist, go get Buddy Hield. Go get somebody. My gosh.
Oh, man. But, I guess that does it for tonight's show. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. I'm your host, Jordan on the Week. Got my boy Kahlil. Got my boy down at the bottom of my screen. My boy Kyle to my right. Before we sign off for tonight, I do have some news. I told the homies before the show that I started my podcast shirt. We go yes sir, get around the applause. So yeah, you can find if you go on my Instagram, JJL_XO, and go to my link in my bio. It's my link tree. You can have my online store there. I know I'm getting a sample shirt in next week, so I can wear it around. And then I know I'm getting my shirts made in a couple of days, so I have those out for I guess my fall collection. So obviously y'all gonna be getting your shirts. You're part of the team, of course. But yeah, man, it's something new. I got some business cards I'm gonna pass out next week. To help the show get more viewers. And like you said, and like we said before, if you're tuning into the show, please don't hesitate to leave a comment. Be active in the chat. I know people were on YouTube and Facebook and stuff. And if you want to be a guest on the show, feel free to hit me up, hit me, Kyle, or Kahlil up if you want to be a guest. But yes, the shirts are coming. I think I got some hoodies, some long sleeve shirts, and some short sleeve shirts coming to y'all. So big things coming our way, man. Big things coming. So
yeah, for sure.
It was a good show, fellas, and yeah, we're gonna sign out. So final thoughts before we go our separate ways for the night. Any final thoughts?
Kenneth Walker, RB1 this week.
Kyle, you have any final thoughts?
Yeah. Besides the audio issue, but Kahlil, I gotta say, I appreciate what you brought to the table tonight. I love that you talked about Aaron Rodgers' ego. I'm one of those who talks about that as well, and I feel like you'd be a great addition. So I look forward to next week with you guys.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate that. My lighting's gonna be a little better next week. I know you can't hear me, but my audio will be better next week too. So.
He says audio is you can't. I feel like I'm doing ASL sign language, but he said that I know you couldn't hear him half the show, but his lighting gonna be a lot better for lighting for next week, and that's basically it. All right, y'all. But thanks for tuning in, and we'll be back next week with a new, fresh episode with new stories to talk about. So tune in.
All right.
Yeah.
Peace.